What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great Friday night. The weekend has begun. It's a little bit after 11 o'clock here. It's been a wild day. Got some great news. Got some lab results back, so everything looking good here. Hope you're all having yourselves a safe time, a great time out there. But thank you for taking this time to tune in right now. And if you're watching this later, I appreciate you as well. Now, let's get down to this. We're keeping this free agency train rolling, talking about some trading possibilities here, but we're on the defense now. Yesterday, we talked about edge rushers. Very important. This entire defense, all very important pieces we need to add when it comes to free agency and the draft this year. So, you know, my excitement from last season, it's carrying over because we talked about this time right now. And to be honest with you, tonight, again, loads of information for you. We've got a lot of prospects to talk about here in this free agency pool. So very excited about it. Any comments you guys have, any players you're looking at here? We're talking about interior defensive linemen, but if your heart desires, any questions you have, please feel free to ask. But also, if you want to watch any of those past videos, all of the offense is complete. Special teams is done as well, so go check those videos out. If you're wondering about the cap at all, go ahead and check that out as well, because I talk about the cap space we could have. You know that Jason Kelce is back. He got a one-year deal. We'll find out the details of that, but it looks like the same thing as last, so might have some dead money next year. But the dude, he's back. That's what matters right now, but the cap looks to be rolling along the same here, so go check that video out. But let's get into this tonight. We're talking about interior defensive linemen. We talked about the edge, and you know we have hybrid scheme now, so we're all over the place with the 3-4, the 4-3, all over the place. And you have guys that are trying to play certain positions that don't really fit. So you heard all last year. It's like, well, why are we running certain schemes if certain players don't fit, right? Well, I don't know. Jonathan Gannon, first year, but he was sought after by a lot of teams. So can't be that bad. Intrigued to see what pieces we give him and see where we go. But on the interior, obviously, there was some talk today. Fletcher Cox, the lead man there in the middle for us. There is some chatter, obviously, every single year that he will be on the move. Do I know if that's true? I have no idea. But I do know that we talked about this last year. Any aging player is, they're going to listen to talks, and find out if a team is willing to make a move for him. You know that we restructured him last year, and his cap hit's only around 14 mil, where it was over 20 mil, but it's still a big cap hit. That's great. But one thing we talked about, ladies and gentlemen, hold on, I'll show you that again, is let's remember June 1st. That's a key date all the time. Once that day is finally over, post June 1st, you have a big change with a lot of money. And if you go back to that video about the salary cap, I show you, and one of those players is Fletcher Cox, what happens when you wait till after that time. Now, if you were to trade him anytime soon, you want to make a move in free agency, you want some money, blah, 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 blah. What you have to do is have a post-June 1st trade designation. So if you do that, then you will actually save $2 million in cap space. That's all we can save. But if you were to try to do that right now, you would lose 25. We would have 25 million in dead cap. That's not something you want to do. We just played the dead cap game. Let's not play with that. I still think Fletch has, a lot left in the tank, but that's not to say that they will not listen to offers if someone has the right offer. I just explained how you could get things done and still make it beneficial to yourself. Talked about that last year with Zach Ertz. Said, if the right trade wasn't there, maybe you wait mid-season and injury happens, price goes up, somebody's offering a little bit more. That's exactly what happened. So keep your eye out. We shall find out. But let's take a gander again at the Eagles interior D lineman. Now, I have Brandon Graham hidden in there just because we talked about this yesterday. With that hybrid scheme, he is actually somebody that we did not try to use him like Billy Davis did as an outside linebacker. We used him as a defensive end inside. So I just wanted to put him on here so you understand that there will be some guys of that mold. Now, not really of Brandon Graham's mold where he doesn't really fit. He's just one of those anomalies that somehow plays really well inside for a guy his size, and he has a great pass rush inside. I love it. So fantastic. But we talked about last year that Milton Williams would be the guy that takes over there because it's a whole different ball game when you're talking about 3-4, and we ran that predominantly. Now, when we had 4-3 going, things were successful at times, but when Brandon Graham went out, we stopped using. I mean, Jonathan Gannon's trying to figure it out, and we'll see what pieces we get this year, but this is what you're rolling with. I love Hargrave, love Milton Williams. Ridgeway, we'll see if we bring him back, but Marlon Tuipulotu, Marvin Wilson, and then we brought in Rennell Wren, which you guys know I made a little highlight video there. There's not much on Rennell, but look, that's where we're at. And we've talked about upgrading at each position, and whether you got to do that in free agency or the draft, get it done. But I love where we're at with Fletch and Javon. It's just, yes, Fletcher is aging, and if they're looking to make a move, they get somebody in the draft. Yeah, something could definitely happen. That's always a possibility. Yes, what is going on, my man Matt? Dude, I think, this is a possibility because it was a possibility last year, and it's not something. Look, I love Fletcher Cox. He's one of my favorite players, but once again, this always comes down to it's a business, and son of a bitch. I think, I'm going to talk about him a little later here in a second, but I just think there are a lot of options here. So if you wanted to go a different direction, you wanted to get rid of him, and I mean, I'm not saying I agree with that, but for the right price, I'm always listening. So we'll see what Howie does, but let's talk about some of these free agents because there's a lot of them, and I'll be real with you. I would be pretty damn excited to get some of these guys. Off the bat, we talked a little bit about this guy yesterday and talked about what he could do in this hybrid scheme, and he's a guy that can wreak havoc. He could play that defensive lineman, that defensive tackle. He can even maybe dabble a little in the nose tackle there. He is a monster, and I think, Akiem Hicks, even coming into his 11th year, if you could get him at the right price, I would be more than happy to have a guy like him on this roster. I think how I feel about a pass rush. It's pivotal, but we also need to be able to stop the run. That's something I'm going to stress here. So up first, with these guys I'm showing you, you're going to see a lot of defensive tackles. Then we're going to look at defensive linemen and then nose tackles because, there is a difference here, and we're talking about how they fit into our scheme. So Akiem Hicks, man, he fits all over the place. I'd love to have him. Another guy I would really love to have, Larry Ogunjobi. He sat over there in Cleveland, and when he finally got a chance to bust out, I mean, he was good over in Cleveland too, but in Cincinnati last year, dude, I thought this guy, man, he is a monster. And if we could have someone like him, I think he fits the perfect mold of what we're trying to do here. He could play in that 3-4-4-3, and I think we'd be lucky to have him, dude. You've got a guy that plays inside getting 7 sacks. That's pretty awesome. 12 tackles for loss. That's nice to see. So I think a guy like Larry Ogunjobi would definitely tickle my fancy. Only 27 years old. Sign me up. Up next, this guy's a little bit older. Staying in the same division, though. Calais Campbell, man, he's still terrorizing people. Coming into his 15th year. Don't know if he'll retire or what, but 6'8", 300 pounds. This guy is a monster. Started 14 games, played in 15, but had 1.5 sacks. And when you're looking at these defensive tackles, don't be looking at the stats like, oh my God, this guy didn't do any. They're defensive tackles. They don't really do much. And a lot of time, what I'm looking for right now is a monster in the middle. We need to stop that run. We need to be able to do some things, especially in this division. And I think we all know that there's upgrades necessary at each position, but we're going by each position by position, man. We're going to get through it. So tomorrow's going to be awesome. Inside linebackers. So, we need middle linebackers. We need desperate help there. We're going to talk about linebackers, then corners, and safety. So it's going to be awesome. But let's keep this train rolling. Quinton Jefferson, a young man. I still feel, at 28, when you're talking about defensive tackles, I think, it's definitely a weird situation for guys like this that haven't necessarily, played to their full potential yet. But I think last year, Jefferson had a great year. And I think Las Vegas probably is going to try to retain him. That line is pretty scary. But I think, honestly, if you can dangle some money in front of someone, you never know what could happen. So maybe someone like Quinton Jefferson brought in, I would be all for it. Now, pass rushing defensive tackle that can help you in all facets of the game, really. I really like Jerron Reed, and I think he could definitely help us out here. I would be all for adding him, and that's what this list is for. I'm going to show you the guys I'm most interested in, but also in the end, I'm going to obviously show you, like every show, I'm going to show you each available person and then some trade targets. So up next, Daquan Jones, a veteran, 30 years old, coming into his 9th season, but he still got some left in the tank, man. And we're talking about adding depth to this line. We're not talking about somebody needing to come in here and be that starter. The first couple guys, yeah, they could definitely be your starter. And that's if you're thinking about getting rid of Cox, sure. But now we're in the area where these guys provide that pivotal rotation piece that we need. So I'm all about it. So, hey, you want to bring in a vet guy like him? Okay, let's do it. But a guy that's very intriguing, maybe a little under the radar, maybe because nobody wants to say his damn name, but Folorunzu Fatukasi. Sorry if I butchered that, brother. But We're going to go with that. 27 years old, though, man. And, obviously playing in New York, they've actually got some pretty damn good linemen over there. I just think that, that's hell playing in New York. So feel bad for the guy. And that would be great if we could just go ahead and convince him to come here. A monster in the middle is something we could definitely use. So sign me up for some Collins-HOU. Now, up next, we've got another Cincinnati Bengal on the list, BJ Hill. And you guys remember him with the New York Giants. Now, this is only, he's played 4 years. This will be his 5th year. So still very young, 26, but he's 6'3", 310. And look at those stats, actually. When we talk about not, just stat watching, let's be real here. He only started 2 games. He got to play in 16, but 50 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 6 tackles were lost, 12 quarterback hits. That's pretty damn good for a backup. So I think given the opportunity, BJ Hill, man, he could be a sleeper of a signing. I would be all for it. I'll be honest with you. So, sign me up for that. Now, we're going another veteran here, DJ Jones at a crisp 27. So I think these guys, that is not too old for me. I know a lot of people start losing their minds, but it's like, what do you expect in free agency? These guys got to go through their damn rookie contracts, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you've got a 27-year-old who started every game last year, 56 tackles, 2 sacks. I mean, this guy was a beast in San Fran, but they've got so many pieces. But due to injury, guys like him get a chance to shine. So maybe he gets a payday. Maybe we're willing to do that. Lots going to depend on what happens with Fletcher. So we shall see. Now, next on the list, another Raider, Soloman Thomas. This dude, I really thought there would be much more going for him, in San Fran, didn't pan out. Then he goes to Las Vegas. I thought he had a good year last year. And I'll be real with you. I think that Soloman Thomas would be awesome to have once again. Another dude that in the right situation, I think he could shine here. Up next, a former Dallas Cowboy. We all remember Maliek Collins coming into his 7th season, but only 26 years old. Had 15 starts last year. He actually did pretty well for Houston. And look, we desperately, I think, will need a piece there because regardless of Fletcher Cox leaving, I just don't know if Ridgeway comes back. And Marlon Tuipulotu, I'd love to see come along, but I have no idea what's going on there. And then you've got Marvin Wilson, who, high hopes for the Florida State kid. But yeah, I don't know, man. Renell Wren, pretty risky situation there. And once again, we've got 10 picks. So this is going to look a lot differently coming into the season. But right now, we're just looking at where the holes are, where we need to focus. And if you get some veteran leadership there, they can help these young guys if you do draft them. Now, up next is a guy that really would be intriguing to me. Nick Williams, 32, man. He didn't play for a couple seasons there. Don't know if he was somewhere playing in another league, whatever it is. But Nick Williams, man, started every game last year. And he can move all over the line. And I think he would be a perfect fit for that hybrid scheme. He could play that D-lineman. He could play that D tackle, and not really a nose tackle too much, but he can move all over the place, man. I really like Nick Williams. I think that would be a perfect rotational piece that we talk about. You bring in guys like Ridgeway. That's what you're looking for. So we'll see, man. If you get rid of Fletch, then I would revert back to the beginning of this list. Now, up next, we have another Chicago Bear. Now we're hitting some nose tackles, some big boys, some monsters that you plop that guy right in the middle and he's just dominating. You're not going past him. So this is a dude that was just released today. I was putting this together, and if you notice, the graphics are different for trades and for free agents. So I had one going for him in the trade department. Well, had to go ahead and switch that up because, Eddie Goldman was released today. So he is a free agent, 28 years old, 6'4", 320 pounds, 10 starts last year. The guy's a monster. Florida Stater. I would, welcome him with open arms into the middle of this line. So Philadelphia Eagles, you want to go ahead and bring in a nose tackle. I know you're dabbling with that 3-4. You want to go ahead and just jump into it, and he can play that D tackle if you need him to. I mean, it's not like he can't run your 4-3. So I would be very interested in Eddie Goldman, and I think the Eagles should be too. Up next, we have ourselves a veteran, Brandon Williams, 33 years old, coming into his 10th season. Guy's played every damn season with the Ravens, and he's pretty damn good. Still kicking ass over there. 13 starts last year. I would imagine he probably signs a vet minimum and stays there, but hey, man, you never know. Sometimes teams move on, and with this team looking for a nose tackle, maybe I would, yeah, possibly bring in a veteran if they're willing to sign a veteran deal. Now, this next young man, hidden behind some people there in LA, but let me tell you, this kid's got a lot of talent. Sebastian Joseph-Day at 6'4", 310 pounds. This dude would be the kind of nose tackle I think the Eagles are looking for. He can be moved all over the line, and I think he would feast. And Jonathan Gannon would have a heyday having this young man on his defensive line. So, yes, only 7 starts. So he played in 7 games, started each game, 38 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, 5 quarterback hits. Now, maybe the Rams want to, try to retain him. Maybe he wants to stay there, or maybe he wants to come somewhere and shine. So this dude can pass rush. He can help you in the run. I really think adding someone like Sebastian Joseph-Day would be a great addition. Now, I'm going to show you the list of the entire free agent pool. First, I'll just show you the restricted guys. If we would put an offer out there, the other team can tender them. They can match the offer, all that great stuff. Don't think we'll be doing that for any of these guys. So let's just keep it rolling right into the unrestricted guys. And let's go right off the bat to the defensive tackles. If you'll notice right next to free agent interior D lineman, it says DT. You'll notice once we get to the D linemen and the nose tackles, talk about the difference and the different people. But we've got a big list here. We've talked about a lot of these guys. You see Maliek Jackson, familiar face there. But you've got other guys there. Derek Nottie from Kansas City. Al Woods over there. I think, Sheldon Richardson still has some left in the tank. So talk about a veteran guy being a rotational piece. There's definitely a lot of options, but there's still a list of D tackles here. Let's go to this next page. You see a couple of familiar faces we just talked about, but you've got Carlos Watkins there, Jack Crawford, Brent Urban, Jaleel Johnson. I mean, there are definitely some guys you could add. Tim Settle in there, our guy Ridgeway. So, I mean, there are options for the Philadelphia Eagles here. Let's go to the D linemen. These are guys that are perfectly fit for that 3-4. You can put them on the outside of that 3 right there, kind of what Brandon Graham was doing. We were talking about at the beginning of this video, and also guys that kind of just can remember what I said, that they're not going to be of the same mold. So when you're looking at a Ndamukong-Suh, you're like, what? That's what I mean when I say Brandon Graham is an anomaly, somebody that you can, call a defensive end, a defensive tackle in this 3-4 we're running. Brandon Graham would not be a D tackle, but you've got a guy like Ndamukong-Suh. You can use him as nose tackle, D end in a 3-4. So, yeah, maybe you could have some fun there, but didn't want to throw him on the list. He's getting a little bit up there. I do like Adam Gotsis. I think that's an intriguing choice there. McClendon, Golston's an intriguing one. We talked about Ogba yesterday as a pass rusher. You can use him inside as well. So they have these guys listed here, but, always try to verify what's actually going on for you. So Christian Covington would be an intriguing piece as well. So you've got options there with this 3-4 hybrid scheme you're trying to run. Now, let's look at this last list, and this will be the nose tackles. Some really big dudes you could toss in the middle there, really help clog this run game up. So, of the opposing team, obviously. Now, Linval Joseph, that's a guy who, he's been dominating for years. And I think, in Minnesota, you saw him. He has done well in LA. So, Corey Peters as well, another veteran guy. We've talked about this, bringing a veteran guy to be part of this rotation. Gerald McCoy dealing with some injuries here of late, but big name everybody likes. You got Justin Ellis there as well, another Baltimore piece. Kyle Pico playing in Tennessee, but you remember him from Cincinnati. Hankins over there. I mean, dude, there are some big boys over there. Danny Shelton, John Jenkins, Trevon Coley. You remember Coley, don't you? So, look, there's choices here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just hope the Eagles make the right choices. So, plenty of options. Let me know how you're feeling down below in the comments. Do you like any of these free agents? How do you think the Eagles should handle the defensive tackle position? Should we get rid of Fletcher while he's still got something left? What would you take for Fletcher Cox? Let me know how you're feeling down below. Which of these guys do you like him? Before we go, let's talk about some of these trade targets. Now, one of the trade targets for other teams, Fletcher Cox. So we talked about this earlier. Remember, I talked about how he was over $20 million with a cap hit. Now it's 14.946. The way things work, though, is if you try to get rid of him right now, you're going to have $25 million in dead cap. You do not want that. You could trade him and have a post-June 1st designation. Once that happens, you will save $2 million in cap. That's the route the Eagles will want to go. You want to save some money here, get something in return. We talked about the same thing with Zach Ertz. People were jumping the gun a little too quick last year with that stuff. Said, hey, if the right deal comes along in the draft, maybe. But let's just hold out. We'll see. All right. So you see Fletch, a lot of people being rough on him. But once again, if you compare his numbers to what you just saw earlier, he really, and sorry, let me verify first. There's 5 years remaining. There's some dummy years in there. So it really, he could be out by next. It's whatever. Regardless, let's keep things going. He's got 16 starts last year. And I think he kicked some ass where people were saying, this, that, the other thing. A new defensive scheme, a hybrid scheme. He's being used in really weird situations at times. Even he was pissed off at times. So I just really feel he's still got a lot left in the tank. But once again, I'm always listening to offers. I just love Fletch, and I can't say right now that I would want to trade him. I think you got to build something special here. And look. That's why I say if it would happen, I'm not going to, I hate Howard, because I get it. I'm just saying I'm speaking with my heart right now that I love Fletch. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't want to see him go. But if it happens, I get it. We're heading in a different direction. We're getting younger. This is what we talked about last year. We're retooling, but we have the foundation. We have some of those veterans here that can help these young men grow. So we still want to have some of these young guys or these old guys around to help these young men and groom them to be, as great as they are. So we can only hope. Now let's get into some of the trade targets that we, or some chatter you hear out there. And, I just try to pick some of the top names people are talking about. And we talk about the realistic approach the Eagles could take. First name, Grady Jarrett, one of the best DTs out there, stuck in Atlanta. God help him. But look, that is a massive cap hit. I'm not paying $23 million when you just restructured Fletch. So what you need to do, once again, you try to restructure him if you're doing something like that. But for me, I'd be good there. Unless you find a way to restructure him, get him a new deal. I'm not paying that. But, dude, he is a beast, one of the best. If you could get him, that'd be fantastic. I just don't think it's a very realistic option for the Philadelphia Eagles. One of the names I have heard that apparently is on the trade block a lot, but I know the Broncos are, they're a much different team now when you change from Drew Lock to Russell Wilson, but got rid of their picks, got rid of some players there, but maybe they're looking to unload some more. You got a 30-year-old Mike Purcell there, only played in 6 years, though, and I think Mike Purcell, that's one of those guys we talked about that would be a good fit. Stop the run, not jumping off the page, getting sacks. Oh, I know a lot of people would be pissed because he's not getting sacks, but it's not necessarily what a defensive tackle's job is, especially in this defense that we're going to see. And I think you're going to see a lot different schemes. And I'm excited to see what Gannon does in year 2. But I think I'd be good on Purcell. It's a name I've seen thrown out there. But 4.347, I don't think so, man. I think I would go ahead and sign one of those guys that we just mentioned earlier. I think you could get him for cheaper, and I think it would be a better move. You wouldn't have to give anything up. Now, this last guy, I think I would be willing to give something up. Maybe Washington is willing to move on. We have dealt with Ioannidis, for 6 years. We know what he's all about, but he's been stuck behind, they have really great linemen, and as annoying as it is, they really do. You have to admit it. But Matt Ioannidis, man, maybe he's looking to get out. He's got 1 year left. That's $8.4 million cap. That's a decent one, but this guy's dominant, man. Only started 6 games, but we know what he can do when on the field. So you add him to the rotation, I'd be cool with it. But maybe you could extend him. You know how he's the man with that. So get that cap hit lowered. Give him an extended deal. I would not be against it. But I thank you for taking the time on this beautiful Friday night. If you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out to me. Let me know how you're feeling about this video down below. Let me know what guys you're interested in. Tell me how you're feeling about this Fletch situation, because here we are again with it. Crazy stuff. You know what's coming with the quarterback rumors. Still can't take it, but free agency's here. So that's why I'm trying to provide you guys with content so you don't have to hear that same regurgitated stuff all the time. So we're going through the defense. We just got through the line. We went through interior and edge rushers. We're going linebackers tomorrow. Very important. Obviously, I have to hit that in the draft too, but free agency is important. We're going to talk about the secondary the next 2 days after that. So corners and safeties to finish it off because, dude, let's keep it real. It's Friday. On Saturday, we're talking about, literally, we're going to be talking, oh my God, this is awesome. Corners on Saturday, safeties on Sunday. Or I'm sorry, linebacker Saturday, corner Sunday. Monday, on the day, on the eve, we're talking safeties. And I'm going to try to do it in the day so that when things actually begin, we can have a fiesta because I'm going to be creating stuff. And if we sign any people, but remember on Monday, it is the legal tampering period. So a lot of stuff's going on. And sometimes they like to get our hopes up. We all remember Eagles. Great. Frank Gore. So got to be careful in that tampering period. But then on Wednesday, the 16th at 4 o'clock, it actually begins. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be a great next week. It's going to be, I really cannot wait to see what the Eagles do. We've got the cap space. Go check out that past video where I talk about how much cap space the Eagles can have, almost up to $50 million. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Obviously, got to save a little bit, around $10 million for the rookies, but it's time to go spend some money, ladies and gentlemen. Time to bring in some bets. And look, I'm very focused on this draft. We have 10 picks, 3 of those in the first round. So yes, but what did I talk about all of last season, right? We're going to have money. We're going to have draft picks. Get excited because we can get both. So let's get a little bit of both, baby. What's going on, my man, Drew? Going to have to rewatch. Oh, my man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Drew. Yeah, I'm going to get rolling out here. It's been a crazy past couple weeks for me, but on the mend, heading forward on the road to victory. You know it, my man. But Drew, I appreciate the hell out of you. Hopefully you enjoy this video. Comment down below. I'll look out for your comments tonight. I've been trying. I don't know why YouTube doesn't send me notifications. It tells me when like other people's videos and stuff is on, but never tells me when people comment. I try to turn it on. I can't win. All right, guys, but I am going to get rolling out. If you need anything, like I said, please feel free to reach out. But check out those past videos, man. We've got through all offense, special teams, now a couple of the defensive pieces, and then we're finishing up with linebackers in the secondary. So have yourselves a fantastic night. Stay safe out there. And as always, go Birds!